Okay, I will have to piece those two together, so we'll do part one and part two. But if you have your volume up, I want you to turn your volume down because he's going to go ahead and use, it's not a Dremel, but it's sort of like a Dremel. It's a little bigger than our other one, so he's going to use this. So volume warning, if you're wearing headphones, turn your volume down. 3, 2, 1, turn them down. And see, the problem being the spine was really, well, that's way down, isn't it? It was kind of really bumpy up here, and he doesn't want to mess with where the screws go necessarily, but he needed to make more room.
Still probably got to do a little bit more on the spine itself.
This part's probably what the most time consuming is, just doing this part. Okay, I'll be right back. We're gonna let him keep going and we'll show you here a little bit more. He's got to go just a little further down onto the spine because he forgot about when the head goes into the spine, so he does have to go a little bit further in. This part, I think, was the most time consuming of putting the whole skelly together too, if that makes you guys feel better. Okay, I'm going to pause this so he can go ahead and do this. I'll be right back. And if you're wondering, he got this tool from Amazon, and you can change these, right?
Yes.
And then the nice part about this is he can speed it up or slow it down as needed. He uses this for other things and then decided to use it for the skeleton. So I will try to remember to link this just in case you want to. But you could totally do it by hand and then just do it the old-fashioned way. He's still trying to see how this will work.
As you're working on this spine, cutting this out for the motor and stuff, make sure you don't cut this area here. That's where that neck actually fits in there, where the screws hold the neck. If you cut that too much, it may not look right, and it may pop out, and you don't want that while you're trying to scare people. Trying to do some final fitting here. See how this is going to turn out. It's close. I don't know if we're going to get any closer without getting too far into this to where you don't have the support. So I think we're going to do a dry fit with this and the neck, and we'll see how close we are. See if we have to take any more out or not.
Okay, so he's going to go ahead and work on putting the spine back together and seeing how good the motor fits. And to think I accidentally ended the first video with the spine, but it's probably a good thing because it would have been a long video just working on the spine. Okay, so the motor is in there underneath his hand.
I mean, you are going to see some of the motor. There's no way around that because the motor's a lot bigger than the spine. I didn't check to see if I could get a smaller diameter motor. This is what I bought the first time, so I thought I'd stick with it because I like how it worked. Looking to see how this part will fit in here. It sits like this. There's screws that go in the back, there's screws that go in the front. I can see the motor shaft. Sit that down, see if it sits on the shaft.
So then, does the brake line just sit right on top of that shaft?
Yes, it does. But in order to get the shaft to spin on the motor, there is a flat spot on this motor shaft. And what we're going to do is when we get to that point, we're going to take and we're going to put this shaft on there. And I got a pair of vice grips and I crimp it. So it creates that flat spot in the brake line to which holds that from spinning.
Okay.
So we'll do that here in a few minutes. I'm just trying to do a dry fit. We're going to see how this is going to work out. It looks like it might work out just fine.
Oh, sorry, baby. He scared the husky. And with all my videos, say hi. Say it's Nala, the crazy husky. Just hanging out with mom and dad. Watching spines go flying. Baby husky, huh? She just turned 8.
Yeah, I think that might work. We'll try to put the skull on here real quick to make sure that drop on there. Trying to make sure that the brake line wasn't too long. That's another fit we got to do.
Did you cut the brake line or not yet?
Yes, I did. We ended up with a 20-inch piece. And all said and done, the brake line goes all the way up through his head to the top, and then there's a hole in the top that we're going to end up putting a screw in to hold it on the brake line. And the way we hold it in the brake line is I took a wall anchor back out that you'd drill and tap in the wall, and made it to where I glued it in there. So once we get it above the skull, just put a screw in there, it tightens down, it spreads out the wall anchor and holds it tight, and that's what holds the skull so it can spin. Just make sure that's real tight, and then the motor does the rest. So we'll work on trying to put this together. I think it'll work. I do have to make a hole on the top of the head for the brake line for the screw. There is one already here. That was here from the string that was on the top of the skull, the original piece of rope. So I'm not sure that it lines up to where I can use it. I think it's just a little bit off.
So you're gonna push it a little harder onto the skull so you can make an indent, or are you gonna take a marker and?
Well, I can't really drill it from the inside, so I'm gonna have to try to push it to see exactly where it's gonna fall, and then drill a new hole so we can put a new screw in there. And with that, let me see if I can make the mark and drill the hole, and we'll be back to put together.
Okay, he did the dry fit, and he went out and put the brake line in the head and hit it with a hammer. he was a little off, but it still gave him, so he just drilled a small hole right there. Now he's got to take this off because you're going to have to attach your wire before you can put your spine back together.
Actually, I have to drill another couple holes. You're probably going to want this running up through the bottom of the spine. That
Yeah.
way you're not coming out the bottom of the rib cage. Go drill 2 more holes. I'm going to drill one at the base of the spine and one in the middle. That way the wire runs up through here and runs all the way to the motor, and it's kind of hidden, so you don't really see it.
Run a piece of string so you can run it down and then pull it back through.
If it stay straight, it might stay okay. Flip them upside down.
I'll be good. The dog is unimpressed. This video is getting long, so should I end it and go ahead and just start another one? So they're not 20 or 30-minute videos each.
That's right now we're in the stages of putting this thing together, and then we'll be in the stages of testing. So right now we're going to wire up the motor. I'm going to use the red as a hot, or I'm going to use the black as a hot. Get it put in here. We'll wrap this on here, and then actually probably solder these on here so it's a good connection. It's hard to see. These are little terminals, so I'm thinking I'd probably be better off to solder it. So it'll take a few minutes for the soldering iron and stuff to heat up, so we can end this for now and pick it back up.